Welcome, everybody, to the Paws Up Postgame Show. I am Jay Gibson, the host of the Paws Up podcast, and I bring good news as FIU football defeats the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs by a score of 17-10. Um, they once again, for the second time this season, they're the home underdogs, and they end up getting the dub, which is obviously always great to see. Just at a glance, this was a weird game. It was a fast game. I felt like this game got over very quickly, which I'm not going to complain about. And it's just FIU has had two back-to-back bad losses, and it's just it's great to see them bounce back and get a win against a conference opponent, a team that they struggled against last year in week 0, and now for the first time since I believe 2018, they can say that they are 1-0 in conference play, which is awesome. They have a lot of work to do still. Don't get me wrong, but it is awesome to see them get things going. So make sure everything is okay on all socials. Make sure we're good to go here. Shout out to everyone who's been following our content all day. We appreciate it. Things got a little weird. We tried to make some jokes about our good friends at Go Tech Please Don't Die, and we kind of got hounded by some Louisiana Tech folk. But you know what? Class to them. They put on a pretty good performance today, on defense at least. They looked all right. Offensively, Louisiana Tech looked very bad. I mean, I'm just going to say it. They didn't look great on offense because FIU's defense had their best performance since that Central Michigan game. I would say overall this was a better performance defensively for FIU compared to the Central Michigan. I know their Central Michigan game was flashy because they had 5 turnovers or 5 picks and a couple of fumbles. I get that. But they just played some hard-nosed defense. They limited the run. They limited the explosive passing plays. And they had a goal line stand, which, I mean, Mike McIntyre talked about, very rare. And they had that big 4th down stop at the end, which sealed the game for FIU. I mean, I would say that this is the best defensive performance from the Panthers I have seen all season. I would say that. It was better than the game against Central Michigan. The defense was amazing today, and the offense just feeded off of it. They had a lot of their drives were in great field position, and the first touchdown they scored, I believe it was the first touchdown the first touchdown they scored was off of that goal line stand, I believe. Was it? No. Let's get into the offense first. I do want to mention this. Kewan Jenkins had a pretty good game. 17 for 31, 208 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. He was sacked 3 times, though. Jenkins took some really bad hits today. He took that one hit to the head or neck area. Amari Jones stepped in and had 9 yards. Not a bad one play for Amari Jones. Shout out to Jones. But Kewan Jenkins had a pretty good game today. There were a couple of long distance passes that he either overshot or undershot, which would have been either touchdowns or red zone opportunities that they missed on, which stinks, but it is what it is. All things considered, Jenkins looked pretty good today. I would say his game against Monmouth last week was a little bit better, obviously numbers wise, but still, probably one of my favorite players today in this game was Lexington Joseph. He balled out today. 13 carries for 75 yards and a touchdown. He looked really good today. And Mike McIntyre talked about it, and Flex had a laugh about it in the post-game presser. He saw the old Flex tonight. And I think we all saw the old Flex tonight. He looked good. And he got the job done rushing-wise. FIU still has not gone over 100 rushing yards, which sucks. They had 87 tonight. He and Keyshawn Owens were the 2 main backs. Lexington with 75. And Keyshawn Owens with 51. That's over 100 by itself. However, there were a few sacks on Jenkins, which negates a lot of the rushing yards. All things considered, the offense looked okay. I'm not going to say they looked good or great or amazing. They looked okay. could have been better. I mean, there were a few offensive drives that they got a couple of first downs on, but when they approached midfield or even the 40-yard line of Louisiana Tech, they had to punt. They had that one fourth down opportunity that they passed on, and I think the offense is on the right track. They did have that one fumble, which sucked because it came off of a Louisiana Tech fumble as well. So it sucks to see they couldn't capitalize on that turnover, but I digress. Look at some other things here. Eric Rivers had another great game, 13 targets, 7 carries, 97 yards and a touchdown. Rivers was 3 yards short of back-to-back games with over 100 yards. I would have loved to have seen that. Sadly, he's only on 97. If he caught that one pass, I think at the 10-yard line that slipped through his fingers, that would have been it, you know? But I digress. Another great game for him. I mean, Dean Patterson had a good game too, 74 yards for him. But Eric Rivers is really, really impressing me. I think he's done a fantastic job. And Kevin and I still don't know if there's a true wide receiver one on this team because there doesn't really have to be. But they look good. Eric Rivers keeps looking good, and I'm very impressed with how he's doing. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, this is a short game. There's not a whole lot to talk about. Louisiana Tech looked bad. I mean, there's just no getting around it. Louisiana Tech has had a bad season, and they didn't do much great today. They went with the true freshman Bullock, and he did okay. 26 for 37, 218 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. They also didn't have over 100 rushing yards, and receiving wise, they did pretty good, but at the end of the day, they had that goal line stand, which really hurt them early on, and FIU's defense put the clamps on them. So just shout out to this defensive unit for FIU today to bounce back the way they did after having what I called one of the worst defensive performances I've seen from this FIU team in a very long time last week against Monmouth. So shout out Javon Dewitt. He got the troops ready today, and it showed off because they looked good. And if they look this good against Liberty, I'm going to say the Panthers have a small chance, but they have a chance to knock off the Flames in Lynchburg if the defense plays as consistent as they were today. I think the offense still has a few things they need to get working right. Obviously, when Jenkins targets receivers deep, I want to see them actually corral the catches, and I want to see the passes be accurate. We didn't really see that much today. So I'd like them to get that fixed up as well. And it was an emotional game. It got chippy sometimes. Louisiana Tech was hit with 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties today, which both benefited FIU. So this was a big game for both teams. Pretty much I would say to save the season at a glance, because now FIU they have a 2-3 record, which is not terrible, but it is what it is. They need to win 4 games to be bowl eligible. After this game, they take on 3 teams that I have a good feeling that they can beat, which include, of course, UTEP, New Mexico State, and Kennesaw State, who just lost to UT Martin earlier today. So they're still looking for a win themselves. If you beat those 3 teams, which I'm expecting that FIU can and should, you'll have 5 wins, which sets up for you needing to beat some good teams to get your 6th win. That starts with Liberty in 10 days, who is undefeated. So I'm just going to tell you right now, I don't feel amazing about that game. After that, you have, I think the next home game is Vice Night against Sam Houston, who just beat Texas State. Sam Houston's a really good team. I'm now a firm believer that they're going to rack up that 2 spot in Conference USA. I know Western Kentucky lost to Boston College in a close one, and then after that, you take on Middle Tennessee, which should be a winnable game, but knowing FIU's history against them, I don't know. So the season's not over, okay? I don't know where they're going to – if they get their 6th win, assuming they beat UTEP, New Mexico State, and Kennesaw, which are all very winnable games. I think me and Kevin and anyone would probably tell you that. It would probably be Middle Tennessee to end the season. That would be their best chance of getting a 6th win. But, of course, a lot of things need to go right for that to happen. If you had beaten Monmouth and maybe even FAU, we wouldn't really be having this discussion right now, but it is what it is. Regardless, a good win for FIU tonight. It's the win they needed badly, really badly, and the Biscayne Blues continue to be, in my opinion, one of the best uniforms FIU has. Now they're 2-0 when they wear the full Biscayne blue. I know they lost last season when they wore the Biscayne blue tops and I think gold or white pants. When they wear the full Biscayne blue set of a white helmet and the blue jerseys and pants, they're 2-0. They beat North Texas in them last year, and today they get the job done against La Tech. Thank you, Daniel. Great stuff today, Jake. Love the coverage. We appreciate the support, man. And we'll be back at it for the next football game. We are going to try to record episode 70 this week of the Paws Up podcast. It has been a very long time since our last episode of the show, and we've been busy, right? I mean, when you have a full month of FIU coverage in South Florida with 3 games at Pitbull Stadium and 1 in Boca Raton, which we went to, I mean, I'm sorry, that kind of takes priority. And I love the content that Kevin and I put out this whole month. It's been amazing, and I can't thank all of you guys enough who tuned into us this whole month of September. Things are going to start to slow down in October. We're going to get some of those goofy Tuesday and Wednesday night games, which will be interesting to see in Conference USA. But, yeah, this month has been crazy for us, and we cannot thank you guys for all the support. We recently got over 900 followers on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, which is awesome to see. Thank you guys so much. And, yeah, episode 70 is coming up. I thought we had a guest, but we're still a guest in mind. We have a bunch of other guests we'd love to have on the show in case the original guest we had can't do it. But I don't want to say any names. It's still all very much up in the air. I can tell you we're probably going to record this on Tuesday, and it'll drop this Thursday, or it could be live on Thursday. We'll see. But, yeah, expect an episode of the podcast this Thursday. I do feel confident about that. I want to record an episode of the podcast. It's been a very long time. I know a lot of you guys are itching for one, so thank you guys for the coverage tonight, and yeah, happy to announce that this is going to be a positive Paws Up preview post-game show instead of that depressing one last week against Monmouth. So FIU wins by a final score of 17-10 until either our next episode of the pod or our next preview for FIU football against Liberty. Whenever we see you next time, Paws Up.